Hey, what's up, y'all? MC here. Guys, tonight I want to do a quick video, hopefully quick. I tend to get long winded, but hopefully I'll make it quick about D2 steel. I think D2 steel kind of gets a bad rep, and I want to talk a little bit about what I know in my experience. So, if you're new to the knife community and you hear a lot of bad stuff about D2, I just want you to hear the other side a little bit. I'm not going to try to convince you that D2 is a super steel. It's certainly not. But understanding, I think, why it gets a bad name and when and where it can be useful, I think would have helped me a lot early on. And hopefully, I can help somebody else or give you some information you might not have had. Now, a couple things about D2 is it's real widely available in the budget range. That's because it is a cheaper steel with a decent reputation and the patent is expired. So that's good and bad because that means a lot of people can reproduce D2 steel, but that also means you're going to get a big quality variance. Like I have D2 here in my QSP Penguin. I have D2 here in my Kubi 122. These are both excellent knives. This one goes to work with me every day, guys, and I don't work in a gentle environment. Like this guy cuts, this guy gets laid on the concrete, this guy, he actually goes to work. He sits in my humid pocket in the humid factory all day. So big thing you'll hear about D2 is corrosion resistance or the lack thereof, and I really think that's overblown. I don't do a lot with this guy. I don't like take him out, take him apart every day, clean him. I take him apart maybe once a month and clean him, put some Renaissance wax on him, and away we go. I don't have any rust on him, and I carry it every day to work. Okay, this is the QSP Penguin. He's D2 also. If you don't know him, you should get to know him. He's like $30. This guy's like $40. These are two excellent examples of D2 that I think you should try if you've never tried it. And one great thing about D2 in these knives is it's inexpensive. So if I take this guy to work and I beat him up or I break him or I lose him, it's $30. It's not the end of the world. He's not a $200 or $250 LMAX knife where I'm going to be I don't know what that's doing here, very upset if I break or lose that knife. Now, I think part of the problem with D2 is, like I said, everybody can make it. Everybody can make it. But the problem is, like, everybody can make chicken parmesan too. And if I make chicken parmesan or Gordon Ramsay makes chicken parmesan, you're probably not going to get the same dish. You're going to get two wildly different dishes. And a pro tip, his is probably going to be better. Unless it has mushrooms, because mushrooms are the devil. But, okay, so, like this is Grow. Grow allegedly makes D2. There were some problems a few years ago where Grow got caught not really making D2 but claiming it made D2, and I don't know where that cut off in their knives. Like this is one of my first knives. It's my first RIT dye job, by the way. This was the natural G10. How about that? This one turned out really nice. Garbage knife. Thanks, Grow. But this one's a later knife from Grow. Also says it's D2. Is it? Maybe. I don't know. I don't have the means to test it. And I think that's where D2 really started getting messed up for a lot of people. So, like, my dad was a Chevy guy. And that's because when he was 17 years old, my dad had a Ford that broke down on him and left him stranded 40 miles from home in the snow, barefoot, blah, 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 blah. So from there on, because of that bad experience, he hated Ford. This is another Amazon knife. I think this is Tropus. So I don't know these guys either, but their website lists it as D2 stainless steel, which right away is wrong. D2 is a semi-stainless, not a stainless. Okay? So, and the blade's not stamped. Is it D2? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. This could be 3CR. This could be some nameless crap composition of steel that's going to rust and not hold an edge, and you just don't know. So, but you do have companies like Best Tech. You have companies like Civivi. who make it on my Odium, all those places, I have used their D2. I don't have any issues with it. Rosecraft blades, Kubi, of course, Boker, and the list goes on. So there are a lot of companies that do it, and once you start to learn about steel, you'll know that like heat treat is a big thing. So these two companies, these both might technically be D2 composition. That doesn't mean they were prepared the same, heat treated the same. It doesn't mean that just because it's the same composition, you're going to get the same quality in the end. And I don't have a Sencut knife over here, but I always use Sencut as an example. Sencut uses 9CR steel, which, you know, it's an average steel. It's not the greatest. It's not the worst. But I will tell you this, Sencut Civivi has it down to a science. They do 9CR better than anybody out there. And for whatever reason it is, whatever they do, they have got it dialed in to where their 9CR will outperform just about anyone's. D2 is no different. Some of these companies have to just have it down to a science. Some of them are just better at it, more experienced. They care more because their reputation is better. They've got better machinery, whatever the case may be. I guarantee you this probably isn't even D2, but if it is, I guarantee you this is better D2. I would bet anything on it. I can tell just by looking at them, by touching them, by the attention paid to detail on the knife. So don't throw out D2 just because other people have had bad experiences, and understand what D2 is. So if you compare D2 to a much more expensive knife, price doesn't matter because my wife is in the room. This is a considerably more expensive knife than this, and this, and probably this. This probably costs what all three of these cost. So it's foolish for me to expect any of these to perform on the same level as this one. But also, just look at the knife. This thing is gorgeous. And it is 154 cm. And I don't want to take this to work and beat it up. I don't want to break this thing. I just don't. I really don't want to take this to work and break it because it's a really good looking knife. And I love this knife. He's a great knife. But if I take it to work and break him, I'm going to buy another one probably for less than 40 bucks. I can probably get him for closer to 30, honestly. So I don't mind that. D2 steel does what I need it to do. I understand its place. Like if you live in a crazy, crazy humid environment, if you work in salt water, on the water, certain extreme conditions, you don't want D2. But honestly, if you're doing that stuff, you're looking for a niche knife anyway. You're looking for a specialized steel, probably a specialized handle. You're looking at something very different than this $30 knife. So I just wanted to get that out there and let you guys know that D2 is not all bad. Don't let these little Amazon garbage knives spoil it for you. If you are new to the knife world, Kubi, where's the other one? QSP, try either one of these knives for 30 to 40 bucks. I promise you won't be disappointed. The quality is there. The steel holds up fine for most of us. Like I said, if most EDC tasks, these are going to work for anybody. There are certain people, if you're doing certain things with your knives, you're probably going to need a stronger steel. But until you learn steel, until you get good at sharpening, until you understand how to care for it and all those things, don't shun D2 just because a couple of steel snobs say it's not good. But also observe price ranges. Okay, like this one, I think was 72. That's kind of top of the mark for me on D2. And even then, it had to be something special. I'm not going to pay $120 for a D2 knife. That's just my preference. At that point, the price no longer makes sense. So as long as you're in the budget range, the price makes sense to you, then D2 is not bad. Now, obviously, once it gets over a certain price point, it starts competing with different steels, and that's a different ball game. But in the under $50 range, I don't think you're going to find any reputable companies, Civivi, QSP, Kubi, Boker, Best Tech. You're not going to find those companies making garbage knives, and especially for a work knife, an EDC knife that you don't care if it's pretty, you don't care if it's fancy. One you might beat up a little bit, you're going to get it dirty. And the biggest thing with D2 is keep your knife clean and dry. You should do that with every steel, with every tool, with every knife. When you're done with it, wipe it down. Don't put it away wet. That's all I've got on this one, guys. I would love to hear your comments. I know there's a lot of D2 hate, and I'm probably going to get run out of the community for this video. But Ethan Grow, like I said, they might be doing D2 now. I don't know. But a lot of people, I think, have had bad experiences with these cheap knives, and now they're going to punish the steel as a whole. Reputable companies, you guys, and that goes for any steel. I'm sure there's companies out there claiming they're making M390 that just aren't. And unless you have a way to prove it, you're going to get the knife, you're going to have a bad experience, and you're probably, until you learn more, you're going to hate on M390. I am MC, guys. This is D2 Steel. It's not the best, but it's certainly not as bad as people make it out to be. Keep your knife clean and dry, you guys. Have a good one, y'all.